How are we, boys and girls? Welcome to the Going Down Under podcast. I'm your host, Braam Hein, creatine koala on all social platforms. And here, we'll be deep diving on all things health and wellness related. How are we? Why am I out of breath? Sorry, I don't know why. I don't know how that happened, but also apologies if I keep looking around the phone because my charging port where my mic is currently plugged in is it's not broken, it's just not working to 100%. So I need to make sure it's continuously plugged in, because otherwise the mic gets all fluffy and weird. Anyway, moving on. First of all, before we start the episode, Solo Leveling, one of the best shows I've watched. So good. People hate on it because it's oh, the guy's overpowered. Who cares? All he does is tear shit up. It's awesome. It's sick. It's just straight hands the entire time. Just smoke every episode, except for one of them. Dude, it's just gas. It's so good. Also, Invincible, also gas. Just ended last week, unfortunately. So sad. Great TV show. Would highly recommend it if you haven't watched it. It's on Amazon Prime. So many good things just about the show. So many, there's only a few parts of the story which is kind of weird, but I'm not going to spoil any of that. Great show. Watch that. Watch Invincible. Watch Solo Leveling. Those are my two favorite shows at the moment. But yeah, Solo Leveling, this season's almost done. So sad. But yeah, Invincible's not going to be back for another year or a year and a half, which I'm incredibly sad about. But regardless, today's episode should be a little quicker. Just a tiny bit quicker. And because I'm going to be covering 5 fitness myths and just debunking them immediately because I think they're stupid and people who should not believe them just because they're just either really outdated or they're just usually people use them to just milk money out of people, and I hate that for a fact, first of all. And then they're using them to, or using buzzwords to try and sound smarter than they are to then get people to buy their stuff and just basically taking their money and not giving them any value. So I'm going to cover 5. I'm going to go through them one by one, and then with each one I'm going to tell you why it's dumb or why it shouldn't be a thing or why it was a thing and then why it's now not and shouldn't be a thing. But anyway, should be a quicker episode. I actually don't know how long it will take, but as always, these aren't planned. This is completely raw footage. So it could be 45 minutes. It's not going to be. It'll probably be close to 10, 15, honestly. But regardless, hopefully you enjoy it. And I love you. Except if I don't love you, then I don't. But I do probably. Anyway, so the first one I'm going to be covering, it's kind of it's a very broad thing, but any dietary restriction form of diet. So this includes carnivore, animal-based, vegan, paleo, keto, a little bit. I would consider, I don't follow an animal-based diet, but I do advocate for it because it's that is a very healthy style of eating. Animal-based, for those who don't know, is just meat, fruit, dairy, honey, that kind of stuff, all things that are naturally occurring, which is good. If you can sustain that diet, do it 100%. But a dietary restriction diet is basically cutting out food groups or demonizing food groups because they're considered bad or whatever. Carnivore demonizes any form of anything that isn't meat and eggs, basically. I don't even know if they have dairy in carnivore, honestly, but because there's all these promises with these diets. Oh, you're gonna lose so much weight. You're gonna look so much better. You're gonna feel so much better. But the only reason you lose weight on those diets is because you're cutting out complete food groups and complete macronutrients. So you're obviously gonna lose weight because you're not eating those things. But then also, on the other hand, some people don't lose weight because they just start to overeat the only food groups that they can eat. People who do paleo and keto, I've seen a lot of people gain a lot of weight on keto just because they get all these keto snacks that are actually really high calorie, but they still taste all right just because they're filled with processed shit. But it's considered keto, so it's okay according to the rule book, which is a stupid freaking rule book anyway. Yeah, like unless you need a dietary restrictive diet, unless you're like gluten free, lactose intolerant, which by the way, if you're lactose intolerant, grow up. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. Yeah, like unless you have like a little allergy or you just can't stand a certain food group, you shouldn't be on a diet. You shouldn't be on a restrictive diet, or like just eat as well as you can for the most part. Eat what you want, and then also stick to a diet which is not even a diet. Stick to a holistic plan that you will stick to. Like I used to get really caught up in that kind of stuff, and I think a lot of people used to as well, just because there's studies and data of like if you do carnivore or if you do keto or if you do blah 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 whatever vegan, then your your health markers will get better, or you'll lose weight or whatever it is. But that's what people don't understand about a lot of those studies is that they're done in obese or overweight populations. So if you make those people who are used to eating heavily processed diets, heavily carb heavy diets, and you take away carbohydrates, you take away a lot of the unhealthy foods, the markers are going to increase drastically quickly because of the flip of the diet. And they're going to lose a lot of water weight, first of all, probably not retain a lot of muscle mass unless they're resistance training and getting a lot of protein. But since they're overweight or obese, they're going to lose a lot of weight because of these diets. So whenever you see those diets, I'm sorry if you heard that, but if you see a lot of these studies on these diets, take it with a grain of salt and look at the populations that they're studying. Because if you don't delve deep into it, the title and the results look fantastic. Like there's probably a few dozen studies, maybe hundreds of studies about how vegan diets improve biomarkers drastically, but they're probably not done in trained, healthy individuals. Like obviously there are benefits to these forms of eating, right? But that's because they're usually just focusing on whole foods and removing processed foods. That's the big thing that diets try to do. Paleo and keto don't even do that, so they're stupid regardless. Sorry if you do that. Don't. It's ridiculous. If you really think about it, and like you know about nutrition, it doesn't make sense and it's stupid. Like, don't do it. But anyway, don't restrict your diet and don't cut out whole food groups unless you literally have to. It's good to get a lot of bases and a lot of nutrients from a lot of different places and keeping your diet complex and varied so your body gets as much as it needs, right? Anyway, moving on to the second one. I didn't really know how to word this one because I feel like there's a lot of data out there now of like, it used to be, you need to be in the gym for 2-3 hours to be the biggest, be the best, blah, 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 blah. Now it's kind of flipped. Nowadays it's like people realize that that's stupid. So they're like, okay, we just need really low volume. And that's all you need to get a baseline set of results, which is true. Like there's a lot of efficacy to low volume or low frequency training. Shout out Mike Mentor, all them boys, if you've heard of them. If you've heard of them, I see you, don't worry. But what I'm here to debunk is there isn't a best amount of working out. There is too little, which is extremely low frequency. Because even low frequency, like 3 times a week or even 2 times a week, is still enough to maintain or build muscle if you're doing it the right things, do it with the right intensity, right? Everything else is in check. Bada bing, bada boom. I would say like working out less than once a week, like resistance training less than once a week, is not ideal, and not doing any cardiovascular work. Doing less than 150 minutes, which is the guideline for the NCSA's guideline, is 150 minutes at least of moderate to vigorous activity. If you do less than that, get it up, like do more. But yeah, resistance training 1 day a week isn't ideal. 2 days a week still isn't as ideal, but it's still good. Like it's more than most people. It's good enough. Like 3 times a week that's a good sweet spot. 4 times a week, you get in there. 5 times a week you have to be more advanced. 6 times a week, you have to be pretty advanced and have to be used to the training load. I wouldn't recommend 7 times a week to anybody, really, but there are cases where it can work. And that's where what I'm kind of getting at is the best amount of working out if we're talking about best or most optimal, it's the maximum amount of work you can do in which you can also recover from. Because the biggest part about resistance training, endurance training, any kind of training, is the adaptations which require recovery. For example, if for me personally, my chest grows really easily compared to the rest of my body. That's why I've always had boobs, basically. But now they're a little bit leaner, whatever. But I could not bench for. I've done this before. I could not bench for 2 months, and I could then go and bench close to what my max previously was. Like my max was, for a set of 225, I used to be able to do 6, like last year. I didn't bench for like 3 or 4 months, and I went back in my first session of 225, I got 5. So in terms of comparison for me, that to me points out I don't really need to work out my chest as much as other body parts, because it's just really good. And also, that kind of wasn't really what I was meant to say, but for me, my quads, I can only work my quads out once a week, because if I work them out more than twice a week, they get super tired, super fatigued, very, very sore, and borderline like tendonitis, right? So I just don't do a lot of quad work anymore, like heavy quad work. I do a lot of like isometrics and unilateral stuff, but that's the point I was trying to get at. Sorry, but I don't know why I talked about the bench part. That was kind of not really related, but yeah. So with quad training, I don't and can't do three leg days that have a lot of quad work, because I'm not going to be able to recover from that. But I found out one really hard session of quads and one lighter session of quads is enough to stimulate a lot of growth, to get enough recovering in to where I'm able to hit my heavy session again, and it's enough volume in a week to where I'm going to grow, I'm going to get stronger, right? So the best amount of working out is the amount that you can do in which you're able to recover the certain muscle groups that you're trying to work. I can also hit shoulders 4 times a week because they feel great and they don't really get super fatigued often. That's why a lot of people like I forget his name, Dr. Mike Israel, say that you can hit buys and like your lateral your lateral delts and your rear delts a lot, because they're smaller muscles, so they recover quickly. You can't really do a lot of load in one session, but you can do a lot of volume in a week, which then stimulates growth and all that kind of stuff. So it comes with time, but figure out how much load you can take. Whoa. Pause. Sorry. God, how much volume you can handle in a week. God, even that doesn't sound great. Sorry. Yeah. Moving on from that. I don't want to talk about that anymore. Okay. This one. Yeah, people, I feel like if you still believe this one, you've been living under a rock kind of for a minute, and I apologize. I apologize if this comes off rude, because there's a lot of things out here that disprove this. So if you still believe it, I'm sorry. It's just wrong. You can't spot reduce fat. Like, I fell for it. I used to do all the workouts of like, do this 6-minute ab routine for 30 days, and you'll get abs. I used to do it. Ask my parents. I used to do it every day. I used to do push-ups because I thought it was going to get me flat chest and bigger arms. And I used to, what else I used to do? Used to do a lot of oblique work, so I wanted to get rid of like my love handles. That's kind of funny. But yeah, your body doesn't know what fat to get rid of when you breathe it out and oxidize the fat, right? That's where fat goes. Fun fact for you if you didn't know that, you breathe out the energy, right? Your body doesn't know that if you really think about it, if you do a bicep curl, it's not going to spot reduce all the fat from the bicep. It's just going to grow muscle there. So the more muscle you grow, the less fat you're probably going to have, most likely. But you can't spot reduce belly fat. You can't spot reduce hip fat. You can't spot reduce leg fat, butt fat, whatever you want to do. You can't spot reduce that stuff. It's not a thing. The only way to reduce fat in certain areas is just to reduce your overall body fat. That's just to be in calorie deficit, work out, feel good, less stress. You know what I mean? So, spot reducing fat, just wrong. I'm sorry. Like, it would be sick if it was true, right? But it's not. So, tough luck. Anyway, that's honestly going to be it for that one. I'm not going to elaborate on more on that, just because there's so much stuff out there that disproves it. So, on to the next one, which is diet drinks. 0-calorie drinks, diet sodas, low-calorie soft drinks, whatever you want to call it. Pop, people call that over here. Sorry, this one really annoys me. I gotta word this in a nice way. If someone, usually the older generation, honestly, not even that, I've encountered a lot of people who are like, diet soda is really bad for you. It's worse than the real thing. All right, Carol, explain that. Well, the fake sugar tricks your body and turns it into real sugar, so it's just as bad. It's even worse because it's more chemicals. Think about that for a second. Your body sees fake sugar, which, by the way, there's really, really small amounts of fake sugar in fake sugar, or like aspartame, stevia, whatever you want to call it, like whatever you want to call it, whatever brand of fake sugar it is. If you like, there's so little of it in each dose because of how potent it is. That's why you can have a little bit of it in the whole solution and it'll taste sweet, because it's like 100 times, the flavor profile is like 100 times stronger than actual sugar. So if you really think about it, why would your body look at that and be like, oh, that's real sugar, so we're just going to transfer it to sugar and make you fat? That's not it's not a thing. Like, it's not true at all. And like, if you look at the studies, the amount of like people are like, oh, the aspartame in it causes cancer. Those are in rat models, and well, first of all, rats are small shit, and that's also if you gave them like a gram of it, which is like the equivalent to if you drank 32 Diet Cokes in a day, which I've gotten close before. That's besides the point. I do have a Diet Coke problem. I do drink a lot of Diet Coke, but also I'm a very healthy person. Like I have good biomarkers. I have good strength output, low resting heart rate, good blood pressure, strong in the gym, don't look too bad, I like to think, you know what I'm saying? Sorry. Um, but I feel like I just yelled at you on the mic just then, I apologize. It just doesn't make sense. And people who say that kind of stuff, it's not on here, but also that's the same thing as people who say red meat is bad for you. It's like, it's all about the dose. It's all about the dose. Like, and people who, like the studies they used to do about people who consumed like red meat and eggs back in the day, they were also extremely overweight and didn't exercise. So that, like, the red meat isn't the causation for the really bad cholesterol, bad health markers. It's just, they also just happen to be aligned with each other of someone who was also obese. Sorry. It's just, yeah, it just grinds me gears. So diet sodas are healthy for you. Obviously, everything in moderation. Don't do what I do and have like 4 a day. I don't have 4 a day. I have before sometimes. Maybe, possibly. Don't question me. But again, do what you want to do and know that having diet drinks and diet sodas, diet soft drinks, whatever you want to call it, is not going to kill you. It's going to be okay. You're not going to get cancer from a Diet Coke unless you have 85 of them in a day. No, I'm kidding. It's like, if you have a lot of them, you should probably stop and drink more water. But because there's also caffeine in them, which is, I think that's the biggest problem with the diet drinks, is that there is caffeine in them, because that's how they get a little tastier as well. So like Coke products usually do. So if you're gonna have a lot of them, be wary about when you're having them. Don't have them too close to bed, because then it might interrupt your sleep, like I have done many times. I used to do that a lot. So I remember talking to my mom one time, and I was like, I haven't been sleeping well lately. I was like, my gym's been dialed in, basketball's been dialed in, diet's been dialed in. Like, I don't know what it is. I'm like, I looked at the back of a Coke can. I was like, well, Diet Coke can, sorry. And it was like, there's 47 milligrams of caffeine in it. That's like half a coffee. It's like, I had 2 of them for dinner yesterday. So that makes sense as to why it's kind of cooked. So I get caffeine-free stuff, and I was like, dude, sleeping like a baby, knocking out. You know what I mean? So shout out Mumsy for that. I think I might have noticed caffeine. I was giving her credit for something I did. Yeah, I did that. No, I don't know. She might do that too. But anyway, on to the last one. This one kind of hurts me personally, because it's something that I do and will not stop doing. And I feel like literally every person in the fitness space does it, which I think is good. Like, I think it's a very good thing that this happens. But the 1 gram per pound of body weight, that is, like, you don't need that. Like, is it more satiating? Are higher protein diets beneficial? Yes. Have like benefits been seen at 1 gram per pound of body weight? Yes, for sure. Do the benefits cap out? Not really. Like, they kind of cap out at like 0.8 per kg, and then they kind of just like, no, 0.8 per pound, sorry, and then they kind of like, they get like, this is like the peak, 0.8, and they get like slightly bigger, like slight differences from like the 0.8 to 0.2, right? 1.2, sorry. And it's also very, very dependent on your lean mass. Like, it's, for someone like me, I think I'm probably around 20% body fat, maybe, something like that. So I'm probably sitting around like 170, 168 pounds of lean mass. So that's probably where I need to eat my protein goal probably needs to be closer to that and less at 200 and 210 like I do. I just like eating high protein, so I'm fuller, I feel better, I burn more calories through eating technically because of the thermic effect of food. Because if you've watched my protein masterclass episode, you'll know that protein takes the most energy to break down in the body. But yeah, you don't like, honestly, 0.6 per pound is, I'd say that's the minimum. But the 0.6 to 0.8 or the 0.8 to, no, what is it for kg? It's like 1 to 1.5, 1.6 per kg, something like that, is good enough. Like, it's good. Like, that's really all you need. But the key word is need. Like, that's what you need. You need to be hitting that every day. As a baseline, as a floor, like how everyone says, hit your floors, right? If you have that as a floor, it's good. Obviously, if you eat more, it's not really gonna harm you unless you have unless as a 200-pound person you're having like 300 grams, then you might just get some digestive issues. It's not gonna harm your liver. It's not gonna harm any of that. That's all bullshit. Sorry, that came out of nowhere, but it's also dependent on body type. Because like if you're 150 pounds and really, really lean, eating 250 grams of protein is probably going to hurt your goals more than it's going to help them because you need to eat more to gain weight, right? And also on the flip of that, if you're 350 pounds, I'm not going to tell you to eat 350 grams of protein because that's an insane amount of protein for one person, especially if you're overweight in that sense that you're not like, if you're 350 lean, you probably need 350 grams of protein. Like some open bodybuilders, but they're also on performance enhancing drugs. But if you're just a regular 350 pound person, most likely going to be holding a lot of excess body fat, I would go on the lower end of probably closer to 200 grams because that's how much probably your actual lean body mass and skeleton is. Like, that, yeah, the whole notion, I think a lot of people also get scared of like, if you are extremely overweight, then like, well, how am I going to eat a gram per pound of body weight? I'm 350 pounds. That like, you don't have to do that. Like, it's more so about lean body mass. Because I also wish it wouldn't be sustainable for that kind of person. If you can, I would still kind of advise against it. I'd go for like 250 because then you can eat other foods and fit them into your diet more. Because you don't want to just restrict yourself to only protein. Looping back to the dietary restriction thing, you know what I mean? You don't want to restrict yourself to one thing or suck off other things, right? So that one does hurt for me because I do it, and I know I don't need to. I just do because I like it. For me personally, it just worked. It just works for me. But it's also not the end of the world for me if I hit like 180 grams. I probably could even lower that to like, even if I get to like 170 grams, not an issue for me. But yeah, those are the myths. Those are the myths. Those are the myths that have been busted. Mythbusters? Am I a mythbuster? Like one of those fucking Michelin men? They capture the Michelin man, that's what it is. But regardless, I hope my back hurts. I have to go do legs after this, so woo! It's my quad day though, which is why I mentioned the quad thing before. So fun day. I like quad days. Just hack squat, leg press. What else have I got? I think I got like seated curls and then quad extension, and then I'll go adductors to start. It's okay. We got it. Beautiful day. And then after that, getting some work done, making some training plans, like jazz. So hopefully you have enjoyed the episode. Hopefully, if you believed in them or you had heard of them, I gave you some more information, so you can do what you want with that. You can believe them if you want. I'm sorry if you do. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the episode. I love you. Appreciate the support. Keep killing. Keep striving after your goals. And remember, if you are a candle and you're lit, you can help light other flames and not extinguish yourself.